assuming that's how I say the name. Smirsabob! Sorry, I forgot. Wait, I forget. This is supposed to be an ASMR. Sorry, chat. I just woke up. I sit in bed longer than I should have. It's because, I felt really, really tired, and my body was aching this morning. It might have something to do with, to put it in biblical terms, me, coming on to my wife yesterday might have something to do with it. But yeah, my body aches. Hyper the doom. Oh no, my wife is calling me. She heard. I'll be right back. I'm back. At least you do not roleplay as her brother, wedded to another man, just for him to discover it and be at fault with God. Yeah. That's because I'm not a Jew. Anyways. Let me angle this a little more. Put it like right here. Right here. There you go, that's good. The covenant confirmed. And he said unto Moses, Come up unto the Lord, thou and Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship ye afar off. And Moses alone shall come near the Lord, but they shall not come nigh, neither shall the people go up with him. And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord, and all the judgments, and all the people answered with one voice, and said, All the words which the Lord hath said, we will do. And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord, and rose up early in the morning, and builded an altar under the hill, and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings, and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto the Lord. And Moses took half of the blood, and put it in basins, and half the blood he sprinkled on the altar. He took the book of the covenant, and read in the audience of the people, and they said, All that the Lord hath said we will do, and be obedient. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people, and said, Behold, the blood of the covenant, which the Lord hath made with you concerning all these words. Then went up Moses and Aaron and Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel. And they saw the God of Israel, and there was under his feet, as it were a paved work of sapphire stone, as it were the body of heaven in his clearness. And upon the nobles of the children of Israel he laid not his hand. Also they saw God, and they did eat and drink. What? I use my nebulizer chat. God's taken my breath away. Hi, Lord Peace. I'm in my inhaler, not my nebulizer. Though I should use my nebulizer. Okay. And the Lord said unto Moses, Come up to me into the mount, and be there. And I will give thee tables of stone, and a law, and commandments, which I have written, and thou mayest teach them. And Moses rose up, and his minister Joshua, and Moses went up into the mount of God. And he said unto the elders, Tarry ye here for us, until we come again unto you. And behold, Aaron and Hur are with you. If any man have any matters to do, let him come unto them. And Moses went up into the mount, and a cloud covered the mount, and the glory of the Lord abode upon Mount Sinai. And the cloud covered it 6 days. And the 7th day he called unto Moses out of the midst of the cloud. And the sight of the glory of the Lord was like devouring fire on the top of the mount in the eyes of the children of Israel. And Moses went into the midst of the cloud, and gat him up into the mount. And Moses was in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. Oof. Bro was up there for a month. Hello, pepperoni. Contributions to the sanctuary. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring me an offering, and every man that giveth it willingly with his heart, ye shall take my offering. And this is the offering which ye shall take of them: gold, and silver, and brass, and blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine linen, and goat's hair, and rams' skins dyed red, and badgers' skins, and shittim wood. Oil for the light, spices for anointing oil, and for sweet incense, onyx stones, and stones to be set in the ephod, and in the breastplate. And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them, according to all that I shew thee, after the pattern of the tabernacle, and the pattern of all the instruments thereof. Even so shall ye make it. Okay. The Ark of the Covenant. And they shall make an ark of shittim wood, 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half the height thereof. Chat, I learned recently how far a cubit is. A cubit is the length from your elbow to the tip of your middle finger. That's how long a cubit is. So it's like a little more than a foot, depending on how big you are. Right? The ark was not even close to being big enough. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, within and without shalt thou overlay it, and shalt make it upon it a crown of gold round about. And thou shalt cast 4 strings of gold for it, and put them in the 4 corners thereof. Hi, Pachinko. And 2 rings shall be in the one side of it, and 2 rings in the other side of it. And thou shalt make staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold. And thou shalt put the staves into the rings by the sides of the ark, and the ark may be borne with them. The staves shall be in the rings of the ark, they shall not be taken from it. And thou shalt put into the ark the testimony which I shall give thee. And thou shalt make a mercy seat of pure gold, 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the breadth thereof. What? So the mercy seat is going to be the same size as the covenant itself? Okay. And thou shalt make 2 cherubims of gold, and of beaten work shalt thou make them, and the 2 ends of the mercy seat. And make 1 cherub on the one end, and the other cherub on the other end. Even of the mercy seat shall you make the cherubims on the 2 ends thereof. And the cherubims shall stretch forth their wings on high, covering the mercy seat with their wings, and their faces shall look one to another. Toward the mercy seat shall the faces of the cherubims be. Cherubims, isn't that like a little angel? Yeah, it's a celestial being. Oh, it's a cherub. Sorry. I have but one question. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above. What happened to that rule? And thou shalt put the mercy seat above upon the ark, and in the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I shall give thee. And there I will meet with thee, and I will commune with thee from above the mercy seat, from between the 2 cherubims, which are upon the ark of the testimony, and all things which I will give thee in commandment unto the children of Israel. Cherub and cherubim seem to be the same thing. Cherub seems to just be short for cherubims, or just maybe a singular cherub. Cherubim. But I was wrong. They're not the babies. They're not the babies, unless we've learned to depict them as babies later on. I don't know. Read Ezekiel 23:20 when I get there, Fancy Dan. I'm reading through the entire book.
Hey, yo, new sub.
But welcome in. Thank you for the sub. I have to read the entire book. Because chat paid me to. Well, they didn't pay me to, actually. They paid charity to. This is actually a charity reward from last year. I believe this was like the last reward for it as well. I think it was the last reward for it. Anyways. Where was I? Right, I was here. The table for bread. Thou shalt also make a table of shittim wood. Shittim wood? Shittim. 2 cubits shall be the length thereof, and 1 cubit the breadth thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the height thereof. What? The table is the height of the width of the ark? It's the height of the width of the seat? Or these, like... These measurements are just random. Like, everything is like a handful of cubits. Am I crazy? The ark is 2.5 cubits long and 1.5 cubits wide and 1.5 cubits tall. Why the Bible? Once again, because this is what was the charity reward. I'm reading the Bible because it was the charity award for hitting the final goal on the charity stream last year. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, and make thereto a crown of gold round about, and thou shalt make unto it a border of an hand breadth round about. And thou shalt make a golden crown to the border thereof round about. And thou shalt make for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings in the 4 corners that are on the 4 feet thereof. Over against the border shall the rings be for places of the staves to bear the table. And thou shalt make the staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold, that the table may be borne with them. And thou shalt make the dishes thereof, and spoons thereof, and covers thereof, and bowls thereof, to cover withal, of pure gold shalt thou make them. And thou shalt set upon the table shewbread before me always. That means always? Feet? Oh. There's feet in the Bible? Yes. It doesn't mean feet in terms of like a measurement. It means like the feet of the table, I presume. The golden lampstand. And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold. Of beaten work shall the candlestick be made. His shaft and his branches, his bowls, his knops, and his flowers shall be of the same. And 6 branches shall come out of the sides of it. 3 branches... I heard a voice. I'll be right back. Hey, yo, new sub? I'm back. Hello, Goose Caboose. Welcome in. Sorry, I thought I heard like a woman's voice go like, but I think it was just the dog yawning. I checked my entire house. But anyways, to continue. And 6 branches will come on the side of it. 3 branches of the candlestick out of the one side, and 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side. 3 bowls made like unto almonds, with a knop and a flower in one branch, and 3 bowls made like almonds in the other branch, with a knop and a flower. So in the 6 branches that come out of the candlesticks... And wait, so in the 6 branches that come out of the candlestick, and in the candlestick shall be 4 bowls made like unto almonds, with their knops and their flowers. And there shall be a knot under 2 branches of the same, and the knot under 2 branches of the same, and the knot under 2 branches of the same. Hello? According to the 6 branches that proceed out of the candlestick. It's like 2 and 2 and 2. God, I felt fucking broken record. I guess Christian texts are the only ones you can read in a non-serious way and it won't be considered a hate crime. Oh, piss off. I'm trying my best to respect this as best I can. If you're really gonna come in here and be like, she's not reading it seriously. I'm doing my best. That's ridiculous. It's the same line 3 times back to back. I'm sorry. If that bothers you, you're welcome to fuck off. And for the record, I talked to my wife about possibly, if you guys want, reading the Quran after this. Hey, baby.
Will you unlock the kitchen door?
What was that?
Kitchen door. Unlock it, please.
Okay, I'm on my way. But yeah, I've been doing my best to be as respectful as possible. If you really want to come in here and throw a fucking tantrum, you can fucking leave. Read the Talmud, Lamel. Maybe. But yeah, I'll be right back and you go open the door for my wife. I'm back. Where was I? Their knops and their branches shall be of the same. All it shall be one beaten work of pure gold. And thou shalt make the 7 lamps thereof, and they shall light the lamps thereof, and they may give light over against it, and the tongs thereof, and the snuff dishes thereof shall be of pure gold. Of a talent of pure gold shall he make it, with all these vessels. And look that thou make them after their pattern, which was shewed thee in the mount. The tabernacle. Moreover, thou shalt make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twined linen, and blue, and purple, and scarlet. With cherubims of cunning work shalt thou make them. The length of 1 curtain shall be 28 cubits. Okay. And the breadth of 1 curtain 4 cubits, and every one of the curtains shall have 1 measure. The 5 curtains shall be coupled together, one to another, and other 5 curtains shall be coupled one to another. And thou shalt make loops of blue upon the edge of the 1 curtain from the selvage in the coupling, and likewise shalt thou make in the uttermost edge of another curtain, in the coupling of the second. 50 loops shalt thou make in the 1 curtain, and 50 loops shalt thou make in the edge of the curtain that is in the coupling of the second, that the loops may take hold one of another. I mean any disrespect, my bad. I'm just saying because the Bible is the most studied in America, I guess. Well, for the most part, America is pretty Christian. For the most part. And for the record, I'm not an atheist. I actually do believe in the Christian God in some format, though definitely not the same way that Christians do. And though I do believe he exists in the way that the Christians imagine him to, believe him to, better said. I don't think he exists that way within the same, I guess, in the same form of existence that we do, if that makes any sense. I do believe in this God, just not in the same way. And I'm not trying to read this with the intent of criticizing it. I'm just a generally critical person, and if something doesn't make sense to me, I'm gonna try to make sense of it. But it's mostly just out of curiosity. It's not out of it, like, disdain. I don't hate Christianity. And I'm not studying it either. Makes about as much sense as anything, with all due respect. Yeah, I agree. I fully agree with you there, Boberator. My biggest problem with with Christianity, personally. Hold on, my wife is calling me. Wow.
Here's some checklist for apologese.
I'm back, sorry. My wife works as a dog groomer, and she has to wash all the towels from work here at home today, because their new towels didn't arrive. But thank you for the super, Boperator. Boperator, if you would like to put that towards anything on the funding list, I am a entirely chat funded streamer, which means I do not care about YouTube's rules for the most part. I do not care about getting demonetized. This is what allows me to just stream whatever I want or whatever you want. But you can put it towards anything on the funding list, your donation. If you don't see anything that you care about, you can always suggest something. My mod Bear will put a price on it. And essentially you can control the flow of content with your money whenever you donate. So you're not just giving me money, which I always feel bad about. You're sort of getting something out of it too. It's more transactionary that way. Makes me feel less like shit. But I really, really do appreciate your donation. Thank you. And I was getting into how what you said before about the Bible inherently being flawed because it's written by a person. That's always been my biggest issue with Christianity, just in general. I have a hard time wanting to care about religious texts. I actually grew up Catholic. Because how do I know? How do I know that this is his word? Especially when you consider the Old Testament is essentially just the Torah. And throughout all of Genesis, the Jews constantly describe themselves in their own story as super ultra deceitful wanderers that everywhere they go they deceive people. Right? How could I trust those people to, in all honesty, write the word of God? I just can't. And we haven't gotten there yet. We haven't gotten to where is it? The golden calf. We haven't gotten there yet. But I know what happens. That's one of the things I last time I read the Bible was when I was a kid. And I wrote it. I read it in Spanish because I grew up in a like Cuban Catholic family. You need to quit that, Sundrop. I ain't playing with you. Quit it. So last time I read this in Spanish. There's a lot I don't remember. I'm basically reading this for the first time. Last time I read this, I was like, I don't know, like 6. I read it in Spanish. And I don't remember like almost any of it. But I do remember the golden calf. And that's like the perfect point that I'm making. Where like at the end of the day, this book was written originally by Jewish hands. I hate to say it, but I don't believe a word of it. I believe maybe half of it. You know? Originally Greek hands? Yeah? That's the Old Testament? Yeah, I'm talking about the Old Testament. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Old Testament. Not the New Testament. I haven't gotten to the New Testament yet. What does belief have to do with it? Well, here's the thing. Out of everyone in this book, so far there's been one person that I have genuinely respected and been like, that guy's a real one. And that person is Abimelech. Because Abimelech learned after Abraham, after Isaac, right? He realized that these guys were deceitful. Abimelech was tricked by Abraham into almost sleeping with Abraham's wife. And Abraham, despite lying by omission, right? Because he pulled technically she is my sister. Abraham, despite lying by omission, was not punished by God for lying, for his deceit. Instead, Abimelech was almost punished for sleeping with Abraham's wife. For almost sleeping with Abraham's wife. But Abimelech made an argument against God, which God could not deny. So God restored. God punished Abimelech and his family. And then he restored what he had done. Because he realized that he was in error. And then, years later, Isaac shows up and does the same thing. I can find it. Yeah, with Rebecca. He shows up and he does the same thing to Abimelech. And Abimelech realizes this. Let's see if I can find it. I can find when it happens. So when he meets Rebecca. I'll follow Jacob now. I can't remember where it is, but Isaac does the same thing. He does the exact same thing to Abimelech. And Abimelech is like, no, that is not his sister. Do not believe this man. And so I aspire to be like Abimelech, who doesn't just blindly believe whatever he's told. Because we have learned that, at the very least, the Old Testament God does not care if you are just an innocent, trusting soul. He punished Abimelech until Abimelech was like, hey, is it really fair that I, in my innocence, believed another man? Believed a man of your faith? God was like, shit, he's right. So, following that notion, what does belief have to do with it? Everything. How could I be so gullible as to believe a single word of this is the word of God, knowing that it was written by Jews? How could I? And if I'm wrong in my personal philosophical beliefs, and God does exist in the format that the Jews and the Christians believe him to, and every word of this is true, I don't think God can fault me for that when I reach the pearly gates. I don't think that's fair. If I am wrong, and at the pearly gates, I meet God, and God's like, you didn't believe in me, I will simply say, you were wrong about Abimelech, and here you are wrong about me. This is no different. You made an error. Maybe that doesn't sound too good out of context, knowing it was written by Jews. It's not just out of context, just even within context. It doesn't sound like a good thing. Again, within the entirety of Genesis, it's just constant deceitfulness. Abraham is deceitful against everyone he meets. So is Isaac. Jacob literally steals his father's blessing from his older brother, on top of extorting him for his birthright. Their entire faith is built on constant. You looked up the Hebrew translation for Abimelech? I've not. Is Abimelech different in the Hebrew book? In the Torah? I'm no expert, obviously. Okay. Yeah, because I'm just going off of what I'm reading, and from what I understand, the King James compared to the Torah is actually pretty like 1-to-1. I was going over it with my wife. This is like, I think it's like the Protestant version essentially, and it's pretty much identical to the Torah. She was showing me some differences between the Ten Commandments, between this, the Torah, and the Catholic Bible, which completely removes the second commandment, which is the one about making graven images or any likeness, because the Catholics love their idols. I'm seeing that as the name used not for a specific person, but any Philistine king. Well, so I looked that up in reference to Amalek, I think was his name, just recently. And I found the same thing here. Israel defeats Amalek. And so Amalek, normally throughout this book, throughout the entirety of this book, they go out of their way to describe who is who, right? Whenever someone is mentioned, even if he's mentioned in the very next sentence again, it will say, I don't know, it will say, what was the name of Moses' father-in-law? What is his name? Jethro. So it'll be, yeah, it'll literally be like Jethro, father-in-law of Moses. Yeah. Jethro, Moses' father-in-law. The very next sentence, Jethro, Moses' father-in-law. Very next sentence, Jethro, Moses' father-in-law. The book is very, very deliberate in making sure that you don't forget who someone is, right? Yeah, there's a commandment specifically about not making carved depictions of anything from heaven. And so Amalek is also the name. Well, that's what I'm getting to typing. That's what I'm getting to. So it's described the defeat of Amalek. Then came Amalek and fought with Israel in Rephidim. Moses said unto Joshua, choose chooses out men and go out, fight with Amalek.
Hey,
Tomorrow I will
sub.
stand on top of the hill with the rod of God in mine hand. So it never goes into detail about who Amalek is. But if you look up who Amalek is and you go back and you read through the generations, because there's several points where it goes through all the generations of every individual person, you realize that Amalek is Esau's grandson. That's who Amalek is. It's the grandson of Esau. Esau being the older brother of Jacob, Jacob also known as Israel. This is a cousin tribe of the Israelis. Amalek were the descendants of Esau. Esau, who had his blessing and birthright stolen from him, but still went off and made a country of his own. Esau is very likely... So, God has a line here at the bottom. Right, so... Then the Lord said to Moses, "Write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out remembrance of Amalek from under heaven." And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah Nissi. For he said, "Because the Lord hath sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation." Again, Amalek are the descendants of Esau, which, if you follow it, is likely the line that makes up Muslims. This is like the big argument between the Palestinians and the Israelis, is that they believe that that land is theirs. That's why they believe it, because they believe that they're the descendants of Esau. So this is probably the most prophetic thing in this book. A few thousand years before Muslims, I know that. That's why they're not called Muslims. But whether it be genuine or not, the Muslims do often consider themselves an Abrahamic religion because they go out of their way to make a tie back to Abraham some way, whether it be through Israel or it be through Esau. I'm not saying it's genuine. I'm not saying that they're right. I'm not saying that it's true. I'm just saying this line right here is pretty prophetic. So the word Amalek is basically used to describe anyone who is an enemy of the Israelis. Right? And God swears that he will have war with Amalek, generation to generation. Why does your Bible have holes on the right side? They're like little indents, so you can skip to different parts of the story. So Amalek was a pronoun used to refer to a group of people, kind of. So it's used to refer to a group of people, but you can infer that that group of people, the same way that children of Israel is used to describe the Jews, you can discern that Amalek is used to probably describe the descendants of Amalek, who is also a person. Amalek was the grandson of Esau. Which is one of the people that the Muslims claim to be the start of their lineage, before they became Muslims, before they had the Prophet Muhammad. It's interesting views. I'm gonna go, and once more, apologies for my misspeaking earlier. It's okay, Boperator. I appreciate you for dropping by, and honestly, overall, I'm sorry for my outburst. I really am. But thank you for dropping by. But anyways, I'm going to continue. I was at the Tabernacle, I believe? Or did I read this already? No. Okay. So I'm gonna start at Exodus 26:3. The 5 curtains shall be coupled together, one to another, and other 5 curtains shall be coupled one to another. And thou shalt make loops of blue upon the edge of one curtain from the selvedge in the coupling, and likewise shalt thou make in the uttermost edge of another curtain, in the coupling of the second. 50 loops shalt thou make in the one curtain, and 50 loops shalt thou make in the edge of the curtain that is in the coupling of the second. and the loops may take hold one of another. And thou shalt make 50 taches of gold, and couple the curtains together with the taches, and it shall be one tabernacle. And thou shalt make curtains of goat's hair, to be a covering upon the tabernacle. 11 curtains shalt thou make. The length of one curtain shall be 30 cubits, and the breadth of the one curtain 4 cubits, and the 11 curtains shall be all of one measure. And thou shalt couple 5 curtains by themselves, and 6 curtains by themselves, and shalt double the 6th curtain in the forefront of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make 50 loops on the edge of the one curtain that is outmost in the coupling, and 50 loops in the edge of the curtain which coupleth the second. And thou shalt make 50 taches of brass, and put the taches into the loops, and couple the tent together, that it may be one. And the remnant that remaineth of the curtains of the tent, the half curtain that remaineth, shall hang over the backside of the tabernacle, and a cubit on the one side, and a cubit on the other side of that which remaineth in the length of the curtains of the tent. It shall hang over the sides of the tabernacle on this side, and on that side to cover it. And thou shalt make a covering for the tent of ram's skin, dyed red, and a covering above of badger's skin. And thou shalt make boards for the tabernacle of shittim wood, standing up. 10 cubits shall be the length of a board, and a cubit and a half shall be the breadth of one board. 2 tenons shall there be in one board, set in order one against another. Thus shalt thou make for all the boards of the tabernacle, and thou shalt make the boards for the tabernacle, 20 boards on the south side, southward. And thou shalt make 40 sockets of silver under the 20 boards, 2 sockets under one board for his 2 tenons, and 2 sockets under another board for his 2 tenons. And for the second side of the tabernacle, on the north side there shall be 20 boards, and their 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. For the sides of the tabernacle, westward, thou shalt make 6 boards, and 2 boards shalt thou make for the corners of the tabernacle in the 2 sides, and they shall be coupled together beneath, and they shall be coupled together above the head of it unto one ring. Thus shall it be for them both. They shall be for the 2 corners. You know what I'd like to see? I watch a lot of craftsman videos on YouTube of people doing woodworking or doing metalworking, all sorts of stuff, right? I would love to see someone do a series of videos where they build things from the Bible, using the Bible's measurements. I would love to see that. Because the Bible has really, really, in-depth instructions on the exact measurements and, how you're supposed to build certain things. And, what they're supposed to look like. It's extremely descriptive. And I think that's, awesome. I love that. It's one of my favorite parts of the Bibles, and, when God is going into detail on on his woodworking stuff, or his the way that he describes the way he wants something to be built. I think it's amazing. I think that if this God exists somewhere out there, he is absolutely a super giga carpentry nerd. Because it's just every opportunity that God has to go into ultra detail on measurements and the specific way he wants something to look, he will take it. And you'll notice several points in the book where he doesn't do this for other things. He'll be yeah, just go do this. Oh yeah, just go do that. But when it comes to like building something, he's very, very deliberate. And he's very like, yeah, I want this to look like this, and I want this to have this, and you're going to do this, like this, and you're going to repeat that here and here and here, and then you're going to add this to that on top and on bottom, and you're going to do this and that, and like it's super like in depth. I love it. I fucking love it. And they shall be 8 boards, and their sockets of silver 16 sockets, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. Actually, now I think about it, I wonder if the person that wrote this book was some sort of craftsman. I mean, I'd imagine so. right? And thou shalt make bars of shittim wood, 5 for the boards of the one side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the sides of the tabernacle, for the 2 sides westward. And the middle bar in the midst of the boards shall reach from end to end, and thou shalt overlay the boards with gold, and make their rings of gold for places for the bars, and thou shalt overlay the bars with gold. And thou shalt rear up the tabernacle according to the fashion thereof, which was shewed thee in the mount. And thou shalt make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet, and fine twined linen of cunning work. With cherubims shall it be made. And thou shalt hang it upon 4 pillars of shittim wood overlaid with gold. Their hooks shall be of gold, upon the 4 sockets of silver. And thou shalt hang up the veil under the taches, that thou mayest bring in thither within the veil the ark of the testimony. And the veil shall divide unto you between the holy place and the most holy. So, I'm assuming this is why it's okay for them to build the cherubims. Because following the second commandment, they shouldn't be allowed to build cherubims. That is strictly against the second commandment. So my guess is that basically God has given them permission specifically for this job, because they're essentially making a piece of heaven on earth, I guess. I don't know, but it's just like, it still seems odd to me. That's like me trying to loosely justify it. And thou shalt put the mercy seat upon the ark of the testimony in the most holy place. And thou shalt set the table without the veil, and the candlestick over against the table, on the side of the tabernacle toward the south. And thou shalt put the table on the north side. And thou shalt make an hanging for the door of the tent, of blue and purple and scarlet, and fine twined linen, wrought with needlework. And thou shalt make for the hanging 5 pillars of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold, and their hooks shall be of gold. And thou shalt cast 5 sockets of brass for them. The bronze altar. And thou shalt make an altar of shittim wood, 5 cubits long, and 5 cubits broad. The altar shall be 4 square, and the height thereof shall be 3 cubits. And thou shalt make the horns of it upon the 4 corners thereof. His horns shall be of the same, and thou shalt overlay it with brass. And thou shalt make his pans to receive his ashes, and his shovels, and his basins, and his flesh hooks, and his fire pans, all the vessels thereof, thou shalt make of brass. And thou shalt make for it grate of network of brass. And upon the net shalt thou make 4 brassen rings in the 4 corners thereof. And thou shalt put it under the compass of the altar beneath, that the net may be even to the midst of the altar. And thou shalt make staves for the altar, staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with brass. And the staves shall be put into the rings of the staves, and the staves shall be onto the 2 sides of the altar to bear it. Hollow with boards thou shalt make it, as it was shewed thee in the mount, so shall they make it. So this entire section has another problem. Not quite sure if this bronze altar is part of the ark or not, or was. Well, these all seem to be different things. The second commandment was strictly to prevent them to worship false gods with engravings. Kind of. So, second commandment's pretty clear. I would have to go out of my way to infer that that's what it means, but as written, it doesn't say that. There is part of it that says that, so I'll show you what I mean. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. So, yeah, like that is part of it. Absolutely. But under thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is, very highlighted, is in heaven above, gives the implication that you simply shouldn't make any likeness of anything in heaven. And committing a second commandment violation since I was 2 years old just for drawing butterflies, I will say, as written, it does also imply that you shouldn't draw anything that is in the earth beneath or that is in the water under the earth. I do agree. The way that it's written implies that you shouldn't draw anything to begin with. I do agree with you on that. But I don't think, I don't know, I do just find it odd. But this section here, I find even more odd, because this one's even more specific. Under the rules for the altar, where is it? Social justice, Sabbath, where is it? Laws about altars. And the Lord said unto Moses, Thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, Ye have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. Ye shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall you make unto you gods of gold. Yeah, so that part's pretty deliberate. You shouldn't make depictions of him in silver, or of themselves in gold. Right? An altar of earth thou shalt make unto me, and shalt sacrifice thereon thy burnt offerings, and thy peace offerings, thy sheep, and thine oxen. In all places where I record my name, I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. And if thou wilt make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it of hewn stone, for if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. So essentially he's saying, an altar for me must be made of natural, unpolluted materials. If you touch it with your tools, you will ruin my work, essentially, because he made all the stones and he made the earth. So that's basically what he's saying in this section here. Like, if you make an altar of stone for me, you should not make it from stone that you have, like, cobbled or hewn or altered in any way, right? You should make it, like, because if you touch it with your tools, you've corrupted the stone, basically. And then, here we are at the bronze altar where he wants him to basically do metalworking. Ezekiel 18:20, the son shall not suffer for the iniquity of the father, nor the father suffer for the iniquity of the son. This is the iniquity of the fathers. Yeah, Exodus 20. Iniquity of the fathers of the children, third and fourth generation of those who hate me. Yeah. What? Is Ezekiel, that's New Testament, right? If I'm not mistaken. Nope, that's also Old Testament. And Ezekiel's Old Testament? I see that. How long have you been reading the Bible for? Well, this is our 6th episode. I read the Bible one time when I was really young. For some context, I was raised Catholic. And I was Catholic until I was like 5 or so. But my family was still very deeply Catholic until my teen years, pretty much. They've sort of, they still believe, but they don't go to church or do any other things. And I read the Bible when I was like 6 or 7. I read it in Spanish. I read some sort of Catholic Bible in Spanish. I remember very, very little of it, so I'm effectively reading it for the first time. And I'm reading the King James Version Bible. For reasons that I got into in previous streams, if you want to go back. I think I explained at the end of the first stream. And I'm reading as a charity award. This was a charity award for a charity stream that we did last year, where chat did hit the final goal. And so we're finally getting around to doing this, which I've been meaning to get into for a while now. I'm gonna sleep now. Take care, chat. Don't get into useless arguments and respect each other, alright? Any night. Good night! But yeah, so I've been reading the Bible for about this far. I still have all of this to read. But yeah, I have to go through all of this, so we're gonna be reading the Bible on like a weekly basis, probably forever. And depending on how I feel afterwards, if I feel like be multi-streaming, yes, I stream on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok currently. I used to stream on Kick, but I've kind of stopped just because it's just mostly bots, just trying to annoy me. We might start doing that again. Who knows? I know I have some people who like prefer it, but who knows? But for now, those are the 3 that I'm streaming on, at least today. YouTube is my main platform, though. Twitch is not my main platform. Good night, rules. Angels be with you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Alrighty. We just read this. Words, okay. The court of the tabernacle. And thou shalt make the court of the tabernacle for the south side southward. There shall be hangings for the court of fine twined linen, of 100 cubits long, for one side. The 20 pillars thereof, and their 20 sockets shall be of brass. The hooks of the pillars, and their fillets, shall be of silver. And likewise for the north side, in length there shall be hangings of 100 cubits long, and his 20 pillars and their 20 sockets of brass, the hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver. And for the breadth of the court on the west side shall be hangings of 50 cubits, their pillars 10, and their sockets 10. And the breadth of the court on the east side eastward shall be 50 cubits. The hangings of one side of the gate shall be 15 cubits, their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. And on the other side shall be hangings 15 cubits, their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. And for the gate of the court shall be an hanging of 20 cubits, of blue and purple and scarlet, and fine twined linen, wrought with needlework. And their pillars shall be 4, and their sockets 4. Hey, yo, new sub? Thank you for the sub. The Wapscallion. That's great, I love that. Great name. All the pillars round about the court shall be filleted, I'm not sure it's filleted. With silver, their hooks shall be of silver, and their sockets of brass. The length of the court shall be 100 cubits, and the breadth 50 everywhere. And the height 5 cubits of fine twined linen, and their sockets of brass. All the vessels of the tabernacle, and all the service thereof, and all the pins thereof, and all the pins of the court shall be of brass. Oil for the lamp. And thou shalt command the children of Israel that they bring thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamp to burn always. In the tabernacle of the congregation without the veil, which is before the testimony, Aaron and his sons shall order it from evening to morning before the Lord. It shall be a statute forever unto their generations, on the behalf of the children of Israel. Hey, Jamp. Good luck. Thank you. So it's basically going into like the details of like the religion. The priest's garment. Okay. And take thou unto thee Aaron thy brother, and his sons with him, from among the children of Israel, that he may minister unto me in the priest office, even Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Athamar, Aaron's sons. And thou shalt make holy garments for Aaron thy brother, for glory and for beauty, and thou shalt speak unto all that are wise, that are wise-hearted, whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom, that they may make Aaron's garments to consecrate him, that he may minister unto me in the priest office. And these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate, and an ephod, and a robe, an embroidered coat, a mitre, and a girdle. And they shall make holy garments for Aaron thy brother and his sons, that he may minister unto me in the priest office. And they shall take gold, and blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine linen, and they shall make the ephod of gold, of blue, and of purple, of scarlet, and fine twined linen, with cunning work. It shall have 2 shoulder pieces thereof, joined at the 2 edges thereof, and so it shall be joined together. And the curious girdle of the ephod, which is upon it, shall be of the same, according to the work thereof, even of gold, of blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen. And thou shalt take 2 onyx stones, and grave on them the names of the children of Israel, 6 of their names on one stone, and the other 6 names on the rest of the other stone, according to their birth, with the work of an engraver in stone, like the engravings of a signet. Shalt thou engrave the 2 stones with the names of the children of Israel. Thou shalt make them to be set in to be set in ouches. Thou shalt make them to be set in ouches of gold. What's an ouch of gold? That's a new word. Let me go look that up. I want to learn. Ouches of gold. First setting for precious stones, specifically those used in the high priest F in the Bible. Yeah. Term is derived from the Hebrew word mishbetzoth, means settings, and is related to the idea of weaving or filigree. Okay. Enough gold to hurt. That's what I was thinking. I was like, huh? An Old English word referring to surrounding something, as in setting a gem. So basically, however much gold is required to fill in the etching. I'm not mistaken. So it's basically it's a filigree. It's what happens when you take soft gold, and then you just press it into an etching, and then you like sand it off, or you like shave it off, and it'll basically, gold is such a soft metal that it'll engrave itself into the edges, like into like whatever you engraved. So let's say like I have like a stone, and I engrave like a zigzag line on it. Then I take gold, right? Some thin bits of gold, some small bits of gold, and I just hammer it into the hole, all the way along my little lightning bolt. When I scrape away the excess gold that's on top of the lightning bolt, as long as I don't scrape obviously down to the same depth as my engraving, it'll leave behind a light engraving that is basically gilded in gold on the inside. So that makes sense. So an ouch is basically however much gold you fucking need for that, for whatever your engraving is, I guess. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying my best to like. Ouches is just not the word I thought it would be called. That's such a like. I think this is something that's funny in modern day. That wouldn't be it wouldn't sound silly at all whenever this was written, you know? And thou shalt put the 2 stones upon the shoulders of the ephod for stones of memorial unto the children of Israel, and Aaron shall bear their names before the Lord upon his 2 shoulders for memorial. And thou shalt make ouches of gold. And 2 chains of pure gold at the ends of wreathen work shalt thou make them, and fasten the wreathen chains to the ouches. Okay, never mind. I don't know. I don't understand. What is an ouch of gold? I don't understand anymore. This isn't what I thought it was. What? Fasten the wreathen chains to the ouches. Does it mean arches? Like, does it mean like arches of gold? Is that what it's supposed to mean? Thou shalt engrave the 2 stones in the name of the children. Thou shalt make them be set in ouches of gold. Shakespeare Bible, hard to read, yeah. King James Version of the Bible, ouches refers to settings or sockets for precious stones. Okay, I understand now. It's like a pendant you can set in precious stones. Yeah. So an ouch is just like a loop, basically. It's just like a loop. Maybe it would be cupped. Maybe it wouldn't. But it's basically just somewhere where you can set something into. So an ouch is just a loop, basically. It's just a loop. So they're gonna have ouches that have stones set into them, and then they're gonna have another ouch that's gonna have a chain going from it, because it's basically just a loop. Okay. I understand now. It's not what I thought it was at all. I understand now. Chat, expect a lot of this, because I'm a very curious person by nature, and so if something either I don't understand or I'm curious about, like last time we spent a good maybe like 20 minutes just looking at a world map, trying to figure out what the promised land is exactly. Like what square of area? Like what area is the promised land? Because the way that God described it is he didn't describe it from here to here and then from here to here. He described it from here to here and from here to here, which is very, very weird. Here to here and then here to here. Because he described it essentially as like being from the Red Sea to the Sea of the Philistines, which is the Mediterranean. And those kind of intersect like this. Those are like that. Like this is the Red Sea. This is the Sea of the Philistines, right? Israel is like here, for comparison, and then here's like the Sinai desert, right? So it's like that, right? And then from the desert, which at first I would have thought was a Sinai, but it says from the desert to the river, and the only river that's anywhere nearby is like all the way up here, which is the Euphrates. I can only assume they talk about the Euphrates. From the Euphrates to the desert, which I don't think means from here to the Sinai Desert. I think since this was like a corner, I think it means from here to the Arabian Desert. So I think this is like the portion of land. Either like that, right? So like from the Euphrates River, to make it more simple, it'd be from the Euphrates River to the Red Sea is the length of it, and then the width of it would be from the Mediterranean to the desert, the Arabian Desert, which I imagine at the time would have not been as big or as close to the sea. Would have probably been further back this way. So pretty solid stretch of land that was promised to them by God, supposedly. Never delivered. Thou shalt make the breastplate of judgment with cunning work. After the work of the ephod thou shalt make it, of gold, of blue, and of purple, and of scarlet, and of fine twined linen thou shalt make it. Shalt thou make it? 4 square it shall be, being doubled. A span shall be the length thereof, and a span shall be the breadth thereof. And thou shalt set in it settings of stones, even 4 rows of stones. The first row shall be a sardius, a topaz, and a carbuncle. This shall be the first row. And the second row shall be an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond. And the third row, a ligure, and a gate, an agate, however you pronounce that. I always say agate. And an amethyst. And the fourth row, a beryl, and an onyx, and a jasper. They shall be set in gold in their enclosings. And the stones shall be with the names of the children of Israel, 12, according to their names, like the engravings of a signet. Every one with his name shall they be according to the 12 tribes. And thou shalt make upon the breastplate chains at the ends of wreathen work of pure gold. And thou shalt make upon the breastplate 2 rings of gold, and shalt put the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastplate. And thou shalt put the 2 wreathen chains of gold, and the 2 rings which are on the ends of the breastplate, and the other 2 ends of the 2 wreathen chains thou shalt fasten in the 2 ouches, and put them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod before it. And thou shalt make 2 rings of gold, and thou shalt put them upon the 2 ends of the breastplate in the border thereof, which is in the side of the ephod inward. 2 other rings of gold thou shalt make, and shalt put them on the 2 sides of the ephod underneath, toward the forepart thereof, over against the other coupling thereof, above the curious girdle of the ephod. And they shall bind the breastplate by the rings thereof onto the rings of the ephod, with a lace of blue, that it may be above the curious girdle of the ephod, and that the breastplate be not loosed from the ephod. And Aaron shall bear the name of the children of Israel on the breastplate of judgment upon his heart, where he goeth in unto the holy place, for memorial before the Lord continually. And thou shalt put in the breastplate of judgment the Urim and the Thummim, and they shall be upon Aaron's heart, when he goeth in before the Lord. And Aaron shall bear the judgment of the children of Israel upon his heart before the Lord continually. And thou shalt make the robe of the ephod all of blue, and there shall be an hole in the top of it. In the midst thereof it shall have a binding of woven work round about the whole of it, as it were the whole of an habergeon? Hamburger. Sorry. That it be not rent. And beneath upon the hem of it thou shalt make pomegranates of blue and of purple and of scarlet round about the hem thereof, and bells of gold between them round about, a gold bell and a pomegranate, a gold bell and a pomegranate, upon the hem of the robe round about. And it shall be upon Aaron to minister, and his sound shall be heard when he goeth in unto the holy place, before the Lord, and when he cometh out, that he die not. And thou shalt make a plate of pure gold, and grave upon it, like the engravings of a signet, holiness to the Lord. And thou shalt put it on the blue lace, that it may be upon the mitre, upon the forefront of the mitre it shall be. And it shall be upon Aaron's forehead, that Aaron may bear the iniquity of the holy things, which the children of Israel shall hallow in all their holy gifts. And that shall be always upon his forehead, that they may be accepted before the Lord. And thou shalt embroider the coat of fine linen, and thou shalt make the mitre of fine linen, and thou shalt make the girdle of needlework. And for Aaron's sons thou shalt make coats, and thou shalt make for them girdles, and bonnets shalt thou make for them. for glory and for beauty. And thou shalt put them upon Aaron thy brother, and his sons with him, and shalt anoint them, and consecrate them, and sanctify them, that they may minister unto me in the priest office. And thou shalt make them linen breeches to cover their nakedness. From the loins even unto the thighs they shall reach. My wife is calling me. Hi, Zero Blue. Hi, my love.
Will you put the towels into the dryer?
Yeah. I'll do that.
And just dump an entire other bag into the wash with some bleach and the rest of the cleaner.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Love you.
Love you. Be right back, chat. That'll be quick. Actually, I'm gonna. Oh, I need to do that real quick. Be right back. The washer is still going, so I will also continue. And thou shalt put them upon Aaron thy brother, and his sons with him, and shalt anoint them, and consecrate them, and sanctify them, that they may minister unto me in the priest office. And thou shalt make them linen breeches to cover their nakedness. From the loins even unto the thighs they shall reach. Like shorts? And they shall be upon Aaron, and upon his sons, when they come in unto the tabernacle of the congregation, or when they come near unto the altar to minister in the holy place. They bear not iniquity and die. It shall be a statute forever unto him and his seed after him. Okay. Before we continue the consecration of the priests, I am going to go ahead and check again. I'm back, so I'm unfortunately gonna have to stop here. Also, just realized I didn't update the daily goal from yesterday, so it's actually 2 for the day. But I'm stupid, and my wife asked me if I could move the towels from the washer to the dryer and put in the other towels into the washer. And I didn't think about it, but the towels are used on dogs. These are towels that are specifically for dog grooming. So they're covered in dog fur, and I'm really allergic. So I need to take a shower. Because my hands are like super, super, super itchy. And I don't know if you can see it. It comes on camera, but they're getting red all around here. You can see they're getting red. I don't know if you can see it on camera. So I'm gonna go take a shower. I feel bad because we didn't get very far today. We read a handful of pages. We got through like 3 chapters. Not even 2 chapters. 26, 27, 28. 2 chapters. But we'll start on 29 tomorrow. No, normally we do quite a bit of this. And we also started late today. I'm sorry, but such is life. We are gonna be late for the next stream as well, just because of this, because I need to hop in the shower. But I'll go ahead and set up a raid. Yeah, like my hands, my wrists, my face is itchy. We are doing Bloodborne, guns only. That's what we're doing. And so we have another session of that today. Session, 4 of that? Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and set up a self-raid. I'll change the time on that to like 12:30. Because I need to take a shower. And I'll see you guys there, chat. Love yous. In case I don't see you, take care, and I hope I'll see you again tomorrow, where we're gonna read more of the Bible at 10 a.m. CST. But I'll see you guys then. Love yous. Bye! Or for those of you that are gonna stick around. See you guys later. Wah! Stupid. I'm so dumb. Bye, Junebug! Bye, Junebug!